In this video, we will be subtracting fractions including mixed numbers. Here I have an activity to get our brains warmed up. I have a Venn diagram and I have some fractions at the bottom. Can you sort the fractions into the correct section of the Venn diagram? I have the greater than 1 section, the can be simplified section, and the section in the middle that is both. And then if some of the fractions don't apply to the categories, then you can leave them outside. So pause the video and see if you can have a go. Okay, so the fractions at the bottom that we have are 1 3/4, 3 wholes and 7/8, 4/8, 2 2/8, and 3/5. So let's have a look at the first fraction to begin with. 1 3/4. Now I know the 1 tells me it's greater than 1. There is more than 1 whole. And 3/4. Now I know 3/4, the fractional part of the fraction, I know that is in its simplest form. So 1 3/4 should go in the greater than 1 category. 3 wholes and 7/8. Now again, it's larger than 1 and 7/8 is written in its lowest form. 4/8. Now you will know from looking at equivalent fractions that this is equivalent to half, because 4 is half of 8, the numerator is half of the denominator. So 4/8 can be simplified. 2 2/8. Now it is greater than 1, but if you have a look at the fractional part, 2/8 can be simplified to 1/4. So 2 2/8 is both, and 3/5, that is already in its simplest form, so I'm going to leave that outside of the Venn diagram because it doesn't apply to any of the categories. Okay, let's move on then. Here I have a calculation. I have a mixed number fraction. I have 1 whole and 1/3. Subtract 5/9. Now you will see that my fractions do not have common denominators. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the same method that I applied to the previous video where we added fractions including mixed numbers. And I'm going to convert my mixed number fraction into an improper fraction. And to do that, I must look at the denominator. I have a denominator of 3 and I have a whole 1. I have 1 lot of 3. And I have to add the numerator. 3 and 1 is 4. I have a numerator of 4 and keep the denominator the same, which is 3. I'm subtracting 5/9. Now here, I need to give these two fractions a common denominator to make the subtraction easier. Now the lowest common multiple of 3 and 9 is 9. What did I do to 3 to get to 9? I multiplied it by 3. 3, 6, 9. Do the same to the numerator. 4 times 3, 4, 8, 12. And we'll express the next fraction exactly as it already is. 12/9. Subtract 5/9. Well, I know the denominator will remain as 9. 12 minus 5 is 7. 7/9, and that is written in its simplest form. Another example. 1 whole and 3/4 minus 4/5. So again, convert this mixed number into an improper fraction. I have a denominator of 4 and I have a whole of 1. I have 1 lot of 4, and if I add the numerator, 4 add 3 is 7. I have a numerator of 7 with a denominator of 4. and I'm subtracting 4/5. Now we need to find the lowest common multiple of 4 and of 5, and that is 20. What did I do to 4 to get to 20? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I multiplied it by 5. Do the same to 7. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. And I am subtracting. Now again, I don't have 20 here as a denominator, so what do I do to 5 to get to 20? 5, 10, 15, 20. I multiply it by 4. Do the same to the numerator. 4 times 4, 4, 8, 12, 16. So now that we have common denominators, we must subtract 35 and 16, and that's 19, with a denominator of 20. 19/20. Okay, over to you. I have here 4 questions, and I want you to have a look, read them carefully, and see if you can answer them. When you've finished, unpause the video, come back, and you can see how you got on. Okay, hopefully you've had an opportunity to go through some of these questions. Having a look at this one first, 1 whole and 5/6, subtract 2/6. Now this is a nice and straightforward one because you will see that they have the same denominator. So in this instance, I'm not going to convert the mixed number into an improper fraction because I already have a common denominator of 6. So I'm going to write the whole one there, and I'm going to have a look at my numerators. 5 and 2. 5 minus 2 is 3, and the denominator will stay as 6. 3 and 6 can be simplified further by dividing them both by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. 1 whole and a half. Now moving on. Tick the calculation where the answer is a whole number. So let's convert A because they have different denominators. 7 is my denominator, and I have a whole of 2. I have 2 lots of 7, which is 14, and then add my 5 from the numerator. 14 add 5 is 19. 19 is my numerator and 7 is my denominator, and I am subtracting 3/14. Give them both a common denominator of 14. What did I do to 7 to get to 14? I multiplied it by 2, so I must do the same to the top. 19 times 2 is 38. And then the next fraction can be expressed as it already is. 38 subtract 3, that is 35. And 14 is the denominator. Now 35 and 14 are both multiples of 7, so I can divide both by 7. 7 into 35 is 5, and 7 into 14 is 2. 5 halves. Okay, now I'm going to leave the answer to that one there for a moment, and I'm going to have a look at B. 5 wholes and 2/3 minus 4/6. So I have a denominator of 3, and I have 5 wholes. I have 3 lots of 5, or 5 lots of 3, which is 15, and I have my numerator, which is 2. Now that gives me an answer of 17. 17 is my numerator, and 3 is my denominator, and I am subtracting 4/6. Give them both a common denominator of 6. What did I do to 3 to get to 6? I multiplied it by 2, so I must multiply 17 by 2, and that's 34. And 4/6. Now 34 minus 4 is 30, and 6 will be the denominator. Now I can simplify this fraction because 6 goes into 30 5 times. So it is just 5. 5 is the answer. Now I know this is a little bit messy, but B is the calculation that you should have ticked because that is the answer that simplifies just to a whole number. So if you look at A, that it would be 2 wholes and 1/2, where B converts into just 5 wholes. Now if we have a look at the last question, Lucy has a jug which contains 3 wholes and 3/4 of milk. The recipe for her cake needs 7/12 of a litre of milk. What fraction of milk is left? So she's got a jug, and when the jug is full, it contains that much milk. For the cake recipe, this much milk is needed. How much milk is left over when she has used what she needs for the cake recipe? So we're going to do a subtraction, and I'm going to start off by converting my mixed number fraction. I have a denominator of 4 and I have 3 wholes. I have 3 lots of 4. 3, 6, 9, 12. Add the 3, so I have 12 add 3, which is 15. So we have a numerator of 15 and a denominator of 4. And we are subtracting 7/12. Now we must give them a common denominator of 12. What did I do to 4 to get to 12? 4, 8, 12. I multiplied it by 3. Do the same to 15. 15, 30, 45. And I am subtracting 7/12. 45 minus 7 should give you an answer of 38/12. Now this is an improper fraction, so let's see if we can convert it. 38 divided by 12. How many 12s are there in 38? 12, 24, 36. There are 3 wholes with 2 12ths remaining. Now this can be simplified further, and I've run out of room again. I'm going to squeeze it on at the bottom. 3 wholes and 2 12ths. And I'm going to divide 2 12ths by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. 3 wholes and 1/6 of the jug of milk is left over once the cakes have been made. Okay, well done. Continue to practice subtracting fractions, including mixed numbers. Rewatch the video at any point and pause and go back through some of the questions to build confidence ready for your next fraction lesson.